Hey friends, Frankie and here in Casper's Kitchen where we cook music. Today Brad and I are going to chat a little bit about unusual album covers that just were unique back in the day that really had class. Brad, kick them off with Grand Funk.
All right, Grand Funk Railroad. Have you ever seen this album? Made to look like a coin.
That's cool. That is cool.
It's kind of a obscure album of theirs, but I'm not sure if they even make it like this anymore.
Yeah.
Very
it's
unusual.
definitely unique and definitely a rare collector's item at best. Now this album coming up, everybody knows,
Everybody
has no
knows.
title.
It doesn't have any info on the album itself, but everybody knows that cover.
Led Zeppelin.
Yes. Just a classic album cover that they didn't have to put any info on it. It got wore out when it came out. Everybody played it.
Yeah, it was a great album. Moving on, Groundhogs.
The Groundhogs, and this album was made to look like a comic book.
Unique cover. The
A
back
unique
is-
cover, and it's actually, the whole album is a story, so there's a lot going on. But a unique idea to make a comic book out of an album.
Yeah. Of course, one of my favorites.
Bebop Deluxe, classic cover.
Yeah. A lot of religious organizations actually hijacked this cover to use on pamphlets to promote Christianity, and I never understood why the company didn't sue them. But this is a neat cover.
It's a neat cover, and it's actually a really good album. So
Great. Yeah, that's a fact.
this is probably more under classic, but yeah, everybody knows this album. Just a classic looking album cover. Sold literally millions. So now another one that got a lot of bad publicity, Cactus, their first album. And
It
with
was
the
banned.
cactus growing, a lot of people said that it,
Look like male genitals,
yes,
and it
So
got
it-
banned.
he got banned. I think this is one of the most underrated albums out. This is a very good band, and I think they only put out 3 studio albums. So if you get a chance, check this out.
Yeah, so many bands got unnoticed in our day. They just didn't get the record deals that maybe another one got.
Now here's another classic album, Pinups, David Bowie. A lot of people don't know that the female leaning up against him is Twiggy, well-known model
Yeah,
from
Twiggy
the
was
60s.
come out in the 60s and was probably the most recognized model in the world.
Yeah,
She was the first model to be tall, slender, didn't have big breasts, and kind of set a new trend for models of the day. But she was huge.
now the thing about this album, David Bowie wrote everything, but this album, Pinups, is all cover songs. Cover songs that Bowie grew up liking and wanted to record one day, and this is the album.
Certainly an incredible musician and multi-talented.
Now this is another classic cover, the first Queen album, and that is Freddie Mercury, and I have read where they did all these filters to get that effect.
Queen was, well, time has proved that they were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
They were just a band that they, time caught up with them to make it blunt. They were an amazing band.
You know, before all the radio songs, to me, their first two, this being their first two were two of my favorites. They didn't have a lot of radio songs, but just really good rock.
Yeah, that's true. All the albums before Night at the Opera were much more guitar driven than the albums
Right.
I think that preceded them.
Now here's a classic I've always liked. The album cover more than the album. Mott the Hoople, and what's the artist?
MC Etcher,
Yeah.
great artist, very, very well known in the art community. But he was famous for doing this type of stuff. One of his more famous artworks was a hand drawing a hand. But he did a lot of this.
A lot of unusual.
Yeah, buildings with stair steps that never ended. Just an amazing artist of the day. I don't recall another album cover that had his work.
I don't either.
It's kind of unusual. Very few artists did album covers.
Right.
Molly Hatchet did 3 covers with Frank Frazetta. It's the only other group that I ever known that did a famous artist. This was a unique band. They certainly, they kind of come and went.
Ian Hunter and Mick Ralphs, who just recently died. So Mick Ralphs passed away this week.
Well, all of our legends are dying. It's sad. I feel like I'm quoting Peter Townsend in an angry moment when he said, "All my friends are dead."
Here's another psychedelic pass right here. Cream.
That's a great album.
Yeah.
Disraeli Gears. Am
Yep.
I saying that right?
Just a classic artwork done and a great album on top of that.
Yeah, they were I guess, they were at their height when this album come out, or on their way to the height.
Yeah.
Clapton was just so
He was-
sharp in
yeah.
those days. Oh me, he was just such a great guitarist.
And here's an album that kind of reflect the times. The late 50s, Les Paul Trio. They didn't put Les Paul and the trio on the cover. They said, hey, we'll get their attention.
Yeah. They found out in the 50s, sex sells.
And here's a Rolling Stones album.
With the Reflections.
Satanic Majesty's Request. It's got one of those, what do you call that?
It's a thing you can move that reflects.
That reflects.
I don't know what they're called.
And the weird thing about this cover is if you move it the right way, you'll see the faces
Yeah.
of the 4 Beatles.
These, I don't know of another album that used these. They may have been others, but
The only one I can think of is Captain Beyond. Their first album had this type of cover, but after the first run, they were gone.
yeah, that was real common back in the 60s to use that. They sold picture frames, and unfortunately, times have changed. Today it's an antique.
And last
Wow.
is a
Blind
import of Blind Faith, which would never come out in America, not even today.
This cover, the media, the religious groups were all over this. A young girl, bare-chested, and today with the Me Too movement,
Oh, yeah.
they would be all over it
Yeah.
again. This album was never brought into America. It was only released in Europe, and back in the day, you could go to the cooler record stores and get imports, in the back, and you were lucky enough to get that one.
Yeah.
But this record is very rare and probably worth a mint.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd be hard to find.
It is. Even in the day, it was hard
It
to
was hard to
find.
find.
I only, we just would hear about it. It was years before I actually saw it.
And actually, the album's actually pretty good. I mean, there's some really good
Great
songs.
album. Great musicians. So,
Clapton still at his best
yeah.
during that period.
Was Dave Mason in this?
No, that was Steve Winwood
Oh, yeah.
and Eric Clapton.
Okay. Well, anyway, friends, you got anything you want to add?
That's it.
Brad? That wraps us up. We appreciate you viewing our video. As always, give us a couple of thumbs up. Please subscribe to our site. And thanks for your time, and you have a great day.